Well folks, my latest drama is that my aircon is completely toast and it's making a horrible screaming sound. Fortunately, Gary at 80 Breaker has sent me a replacement air conditioning pump and a screw. Let me show you. So the aircon's screwed, and it happened right as I was loaning the car to Patch, who I think had to drive around with no aircon on his holiday. Now there's a lot of people having problems with the aircon at the same time here on the Facebook posts, and fortunately Gary from 80 Breaker has sent me a replacement aircon compressor. And he's also solved the problem with my completely stripped screw. So I had this one. This is my absolutely knackered idler adjuster, and for 30 quid he had a good rummage in his boxes and he's found this one and sent this across to me. And he has more, so if you're also suffering from a knackered idler, let him know. And I'll put a link down below. Let's have a look at this aircon compressor. Now this is completely out with my comfort zone. I have removed an aircon compressor before, because when I stripped my first Land Cruiser I had to take everything off, but I haven't replaced one before. But as far as I can see, it's 4 bolts which attach onto the engine block. That's it, hopefully. It's slightly different to the one that I have on right now, because I've got bolts on the top and this is an Allen key thing, but the dimensions physically look the same, and most of these are just, most of these are just a Denso part anyway, so I'll probably find that the Denso part number is identical, or at least very similar. I will have a go at fitting this. I'm also going to dismantle the old one to see if I can understand what went wrong. Anyway, aircon compressor, £180 I think it was, plus a bit of postage to get it here, and with a bit of luck that'll be a direct swap and my aircon will be fixed, belts on, and away we go. We shall see. Now, I mentioned before that I do believe that spending a little bit of time to get better access pays off in the long run. So I'm going to take off this top hose, as I often do, and that'll give me better access down the side. I might remove some of the other airbox piping if I think it'll help, but a few pieces removed from your way saves time overall on the job. I really do believe that. Just going to hook it off to the side here and attach it to the battery to clamp. That gets it out of my way and I get better access. I could get even better access if I removed that second hose, but I'm going to see how I get on without it, because it's only 4 bolts. 10 millimeters. Right, there we are. Aircon compressor is off. 4 bolts which attach it to this bracket here, but you do have to, of course, take off the high and low pressure hoses, and the idler pulley needs to come off as well. I mean, with the knackered screw, that's what caused this whole debacle to be a 2-month job rather than a 2-day job. Cool. Aircon compressor's off. Let's go and have a look and see how they compare. So this is my old one, which is seized, and here is the one that came from Gary. They both got this N019 marking on the top, although here you are, mine have got the, I think it's 7 or 8 millimeter bolts on the top, and this one has Allen key heads. The electrical fitting is identical. Denso 447 300 7230, and my old one 447 300 7230. Exactly the same part number. Mine's just a little grubbier. Exactly the same. Let's have a look at the part number on the rear, if I can. Denso 447 200 447 200. Right, so we're in good shape. I am going to dismantle this, but let me do a quick feel to see if I can feel any difference in the clutch or the bearing. So this is the new one, freewheeling. Old one also freewheeling. Oh, interesting, I can actually hear that pumping. This one's got almost no resistance though. This one, I actually feel more compression. Completely freewheeling pulley. You can hear the bearing has more noise, and that one has very little resistance when I'm spinning it. And given the very little that I know about compressors, is that you want compression in your compressors, and that feels like it's got more compression in the compressor. Let's just go and fit this one back on the car. My tray of assorted bolts, and here is my new AC pump. While I'm in here, this fan belt pulley, sometimes you get a bit of a squeal off that, so I'm just tightening up the adjuster while I'm in here. And then I'm going to put the aircon compressor back on. constant dropping of tools is becoming annoying, I'm not gonna lie, but it's my own fault, and it's because I am not a mechanic. I work on a keyboard for a living, so I'm still all fingers and thumbs. Fairly simple. The 4 12mm bolts are now back in and the frame is now secure. So I'm going to remove these bolts next, and I'm going to get my hose pipes replaced. Low pressure's back on, high pressure's back on. I need to sort out the belt in a minute because that's still off and that's going to be a real pain to get to. But before I do that, I still have a leaking hose here. I want to swap that, the O-ring in that connector, because it's still been weeping just a little bit. So I'm going to pull off the front grille and swap that. I've got way too many tools out here as usual. Right, GIS screwdriver, because I don't want to strip the threads any more than they already have been. Only has 1 screw, I guess. Let's not talk about that. Ignore the massive intercooler, it's not very good. It's a pretty knackered looking screw, but we'll do our best. The thread's not stripped, but I will give it a clean before I put it on. So that little green rubber, I'm going to try and replace that O-ring. I just need to pluck it off with a little pick and then go find one that's an appropriate size. Go and find a replacement. I have selected the 7/16 by 3/32. Oh, that's a bit of a tighter fit, that's what we want. So that's another small job ticked off the list while I'm in here, because that one has been just gently weeping ever so slowly for a long time. I have also noticed flapping about quite a lot. Let's pop this off and see what's going on. Oh, the tab is completely sheared. I guess I better order another 2 indicators. That did not last long. Better order 2 more of those. Replaced those less than a year ago and I need another pair already. But I think the last step is just getting this belt back on. And then the idler pulley, which fell off, mostly because I didn't tighten it well enough, I guess. But I will now replace that with the one that Gary sent me. It is curious, these are definitely different, because this is the original one from the car here, and I have the viscous heater, and it is a definite left-handed thread. The one that Gary sent me, and the one that I'm about to fit, is a right-handed thread. But I'm hoping it will be good enough to get the car up and running until my replacements come over from Japan. Here goes nothing, I guess. Well, here goes 30 quid, I suppose. Idler pulley's back on. Now, I found assembling that to be a little bit confusing, so let me see if I can help a little bit. As you're looking at it from the rear here, you want to have this shaped washer. That goes on and sandwiches the bracket. Then you have your pulley. Then this piece is shaped so that it connects to the bearing. And then spring washer and a bolt on the front. So that's your arrangement there, but with a spring washer and a bolt on the front. These 2 parts here are going to sandwich the bearing, not the pulley. That part confused me. So I want to bring it all the way up so that I can get this belt underneath that pulley. On the crank, it's on all 3 of my belts. So now I'm going to go the opposite direction here and put some tension on that. Oh, except I'm not. Look, that's not. Oh man, this is why I need the other one. That's going to tension fuck all. Damn it. That still isn't going to work because that is still a right-handed thread, not a left-handed. So the left-handed has a collar here. Left-handed bolt has a collar just underneath so that when you screw it down it catches underneath here and exerts pressure on the pulley. The right-handed thread one doesn't have that, so it just comes up and up and up and up and never puts tension on the belt. So I'm going to have to try again because the 80 breaker part was for the wrong car. So hey ho, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Belt back off. I'll call the Toyota parts department, see if they can get me the bolt faster than a bolt from Dubai or Japan. See you in a few days. I had to draft in the big guns and get help from my dad. This is John.
Hi there, guys.
John, you were a mechanical engineer for how long?
50 years maybe.
Nearly 50 years, so he knows his way around a ratchet. So I spoke to Toyota about an hour ago and they want £46 for the bolt, and I'm gonna take this car away in 3 weeks and I want my aircon for that trip. So I thought, can I bodge something together? So got some advice from the big show here. The idler pulley's on. The problem is it has to be mounted high enough up so that you can get it over the fan clutch, but then you need to be able to tension it down in order to get the belt to be tight. So that is using the right threaded bolt that I just paid 30 quid for. But there's a bit of a sandwich assembly going on in the top here. Can you basically explain what we have done here?
We put this through the bracket, and then we put a nut under the underside in order to pinch the bolt and secure the bolt inside the housing, and allowing it to be locked up, not to jump out of the bracket itself. But this is a right hand thread, so instead of the official Toyota way of turning it clockwise to tension it, you turn it anti-clockwise to tension it, because it's a right hand thread, as opposed to the official Toyota one is a left hand thread.
Which is why it took me like 4 goes to figure out which way to tighten it. I kept doing it the wrong way.
The nut on the underside of the bracket keeps the bolt in place and also locks it up to stop it from spinning free, and then you just turn the...
Yeah, for us to put tension down on the belt, we screwed it anti-clockwise.
Yes.
And it separated this part here. Mechanic's eye. What else did you spot?
Discovered that there was a looseness in this mechanism here, which is
This is the power heater, the viscous heater. So that whole housing is moving. So he says to me, is that normal? No, it's absolutely not normal, because down here,
the finger's pointing.
there's a bolt missing. So it was just a little tiny bit of movement in the viscous heater, which he spotted immediately. But these are the things that just escaped me completely, because I'm an IT guy.
Which might, over time, have caused the initial problem of the belt shredding.
Well, the belt didn't shred, but my aircon compressor clutch failed.
Yeah.
Could that have produced enough twist to wear the...
There is a possibility over time.
Well, I mean, I've got it in on the bench. I'm going to strip it apart and see what happened, because I heard of one where the ball bearing jumps out.
Yeah, that's a possibility. But that didn't help.
So I'm still going to order the parts from Japan, or the bolts from Japan, and I'll list a few of them on eBay, because if you're in the UK or Europe, we shouldn't have to wait a month or pay the ransom of £46 to get the bolt we need. So I'll get a few of them and I'll list them up on eBay. Belt's on, it's got some tension, but it's not going to be quite right until we get that bolt back in, so I'll order that bolt as well. But that might be enough if I get this regassed.
Yep.
That might now be enough. Although I'll need to get this oiled as well, won't I? Because the aircon compressor, it doesn't appear to have anything in it. So
yes.
when you put gas in, did they put oil in as well?
No, it needs separate.
Okay.
The main thing though is not to over tension that bolt. You don't want it to over tension in the belt so much
in case it pulls that forward.
It pulls it forward.
I mean, that feels looser than it used to be.
Tight enough so that it doesn't squeal, but slack enough that it doesn't shred any other mechanical part that's running on.
I'll tell you what I could do. I could turn that on and at least see if the aircon compressor spins.
Yes.
It'll only spin briefly though, because the Toyota, when it sees there's no gas in the system, it'll turn back off again. Goodness, look at that. That's ridiculous. Right, so I don't see the AC clutch kicking in though. It's not kicking in, but it might be because there's no gas in it. I'll just have to assume that clutch is working from the one that Gary sold to me. Bolt on that side, order the left-hand thready jobs so that I can do that properly.
What's wrong with that repair?
Get a...
Well, that's a success.
That's it. I mean, that's now functional and the belt's back on. I'm not going to have any air conditioning, but I guess all I'll need to do now is take it to get it regassed and see if that'll work. And I'll have to sort out that bolt. That must be recent because I haven't noticed that flying around like that. I would have spotted that vibration from...
You spied it from the space station, you know.
Well, you spied it before it was even turned on. So if in doubt, ask your old dad. What's that patter you used to... I used to think my dad was an idiot.
And now that I'm 25, I'm amazed how much he's learned over the years.
Next steps, I'll just take this and get some gas in it. There's a company called Quick Fit here. Will normally screw you over on parts because they'll invent stuff that's wrong with the car. But I've had this gassed a few times up there and they always do an absolutely fine job. You just leave it and come back in 2 hours. So I'll get that gassed up and see if it's working, and I'll order the bolts from Amayama again. They always do a good job getting stuff from Japan. Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome.
That's about as good as it's going to get until I find the next problem. Well, I already have the next problem. The handbrake adjuster is at max, so it probably needs shoes.
Yeah, well.
I've got a death wobble. Actually, maybe you could help me with that if I do the steering wheel shiggle, because I want to see if any of the bushings or rack ends are loose. And I want to ask you to climb on the ground. There's a front end wobble in there somewhere when accelerating, and I think it's something... Someone's like a steering link's gone or the anti-roll bar was disconnected or something, because if you're accelerating and turning, it starts doing that until you come off the power. So
that would be a tracky end.
That's what I was thinking.
Or a B-joint.
But I'll have a look at them in a minute. If you can shuggle the wheel for me, that'll save me, save you climbing down.
Shuggle.
Anyway, thank you for watching. Questions, comments in the box down below. If you want to subscribe to my dad's YouTube channel, he doesn't have one. Unless you're now claiming this is your channel. Anyway, thank you for watching. Take care. Look after each other. Make good decisions if you can. I'll see you in another video. Thank you. Bye-bye. Say bye, Dad. You're still on a microphone.
Bye.